Chilly here with Sirius Taurus Moon. This is Jupiter hour and Venus night. Well, Jupiter is ruling the midheaven. I want to talk about something because I feel that it's going to be both energy reading and astrology. The Saturn Neptune is going to conjoin on the world degree. It has a signature, a trajectory of mass death. I think this is, yes, some people address the pandemic part, um, but what I'm seeing is mass death, and it's coming a lot. I want to think back. I'm going to bring it from another perspective. And this is really one word for Freya of the North. She lives in Lapland. And she describes the territory, the land, as having its own rules. It's very cold. And as she says, even in one of her videos, it's kind of like if you don't chop the wood on time, you will not warm yourself and you will simply die in the winter. That creates a certain trajectory. And that certain trajectory is of, very simply put, having to adjust to the conditions. This is different to climates where the more Venusian is allowed by the climate. And here is where the Aries and perhaps the co-presence of Aries and Neptune is already coming to the forefront. Because there are various ways to do occult, talismans, magic, ritual. Some of them are use of violence, transmutation, and alchemy, both in the healing procedure that breaks the person and strips the person into a gnosis, initiation, healing, transmutation of lies, ideation, and nourishing creation of love, embodiment, movement, joy, pleasure, and where is the Aries coming in, and Neptune is social change and the climate change. Because within the challenging climates, and it can be religious climates, it can be occultistic climates, it can be physical climates, it can be actual, floods, pandemics, and so on, grief even, oppression, and so on. There is a creation of a world that is different, and it's also creation of a climate that is different. Now, not all people are compatible with all climates, but also the climates themselves are changing. The world is changing. And those that attempt to actually take life, take creation of life, are entering a mass death mode. And this is the thing. It's not about blame shifting, and it's not about, looking even deeper within. It's not about the breakage. It's about the unclenched fist. And those that try to toughen the person Think about trying to toughen a Pisces to clench their fist. What are they going to do? Why me? Oh, sorry me. Oh, poor me. Oh, I see a world where there is light, there is joy, there is life, there is giving, there is kindness. And before it knows, there is mass death around. Pandemics, world wars, floods. What happened? The sorry Pisces manifested the world. So this mass death signature is going to look a lot like that. They try to toughen Neptune. They try to toughen. Okay, think about Saturn in Pisces as trying to routinely structure Pisces. And Pisces is about tending to surrender, tending to surrender. And then it little by little manifests its way out of the grief, and Pisces can seem like the great escapist, but it is actually creation. In fact, one of the stories that I remember of famous musician Darren Hayes, and he had a horrible childhood. By the way, he published autobiography not long ago, and as child he tells he would be manifesting and dreaming. So if people would be bullying him and chasing him, he would imagine he's a big celebrity and everybody's the crowd that is chasing him. And in that way, he basically was dreaming of things, and he manifested his career, and he really wanted a home for his mother, so he manifested a home. And all of that came from this, oh, why me? Why is this? Why is it that? And it was genuinely horrible, okay? It was dissociated, like. But this is very, okay, the Taurus Sun, but Moon Pisces is a very Piscean archetype. And that Piscean archetype that escapes into the dreamland, and it looks like they are evading reality. They're so out of touch with reality. They're not even connected. And then, lo and behold, they are creating the new world. So you try to toughen up a Pisces, and they will just manifest a different reality. And I think a lot of what Saturn is trying to do at the end of Pisces, before it ingresses to Neptune, is try to toughen up a Pisces. But look, if you don't chop the wood, you will die. If you don't this, you will die. And then Pisces dreams about a Garden of Eden on Earth. Comfortable climate. Not having to work too hard. But being able to dance freely. Enjoying nature. But also being able to enjoy technology. Creation with the stars. And creation of magic for the sake of being for the sake of creation, for the sake of creation of joy, out of love, out of pleasure. Completely different to everyone around. You create a talisman. It is a violent. You use alchemy. You use a fire. You use energy. You order nature to comply with you, or you use devotion. God gives you sadness, you find the spiritual meaning of it. It's a portal of dedication. You have to dedicate. You have to be there. You have to show up. You have to. And then there is this anomaly. And Saturn tries to toughen, but toughen up. What are you going to do if there's spiritual warfare? And then the Pisces says, wait, I call Archangel Michael, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Why do people have to do it all day, all the time? Are they trying to divert the attention of the people from something else? And who is the one is, why does it look like a voodoo doll? Isn't that supposed to be like the Vatican? What's voodoo doing in the Vatican? The Vatican is voodoo. Is it not like pagan or something? And the Nephilim, well, they have statues of Enki. You know that they say that there are satanic ritual abuse underneath basilica. And it's like, you can't talk about this. This is no, it's not the timeline. It's not. Wait a second. The apostles. And this is how, and I said it when Saturn ingressed into Pisces, Saturn is getting a reality check on Saturn. That malleable fish doesn't toughen up. It manifests a different reality. It could die in the process, but so could the people that go into, Lapland trying to heal and break their entire psyche. Not everybody ends like the North Witch. Those that do are a beacon of light to everyone, of survival in seemingly unlivable conditions. Others simply create a different world. Now, it goes somewhere along the ways where, in some circumstances, you can't change the circumstances, surrender into them. But the Pisces is surrendering into the thing, and it's like, well, you can't really surrender into that. And you surrender to the fact that you can't really surrender into that, and begin to manifest. And you can't really manifest consciously, and you surrender to the fact that you can't do that. And lo and behold, a new world is created. Now the thing is, there was a question about rage. Now with Pisces, because the extent of what needs to be changed is so gigantic, it's not rage. It is something, the message in a bottle to the bottom of the ocean. Then there is mass death, plague, floods, disaster after disaster. It becomes a manifest, not because the Pisces manifests that, but because the boundaries that were violated creates a trajectory that Pisces just aligns with. Now Saturn, Neptune in Aries, this is where, yes, where we had mega tsunamis. Even the ocean takes action. Pisces doesn't know what is the right action to be taken, so it manifests, and then we move into Aries. And so all of those that try to detach the person from their own essence, intuition, movement, are attaching themselves to a timeline of disappointment. And they try to force an end, where in fact Saturn is about to end something naturally. There's no need to try. And it is the use of force on the Pisces that fall flat in dissolution. And it's actually sometimes even the attempt to imitate, to create inorganic timeline. See, these themes are coming up, and such tremendous effort to try to what? Subjugate, to oppress, to enslave over nothing. Because mass death is coming. But this mass death is coming. It's mass death to oppression. And the attempt to get those that are not on the timeline of oppression to be subjugated as if it is their karma, when it's not. Now, it doesn't mean that those are going to die, those are going to stay alive. No, not necessarily at all. Sun ingressed into Libra, opposing Neptune. You can't ingress into Libra without opposing Neptune right now. And the amount of rituals done to try to control time. But time has drowned in Pisces. You think about the clock that is drowning into the sea. And the amount of violence putting into ritual, alchemical, trying to create a talisman, to oppress something, to try to collapse something into a timeline. It's like, but it's a Pisces. And the entire process of creation. I'm getting Pinocchio, because the myth, the esoterics around Pinocchio was this rites and rituals where Pinocchio was created, and everybody's looking at Pinocchio as Pinocchio is a liar, but nobody looks at Geppetto. Pinocchio was not created to be sovereign, and yet Pinocchio cannot fit into the timeline or into the trajectories one by one. You see, Pluto is retrograde, so it's one by one the topics I discussed. Uranus retrograde, one by one topics coming again to be revisited in discussion. And so Pinocchio cannot adapt to serving its supposed creator. Even though the creator created, you think about the person creating talisman, and think about a person creating a talisman, say, I consecrate this talisman to do this. Oh my God, such attempts to rape me when I say it. Why? Over nothing. And then trying to direct the energy specifically. And then what happens? The talisman does another thing. But this, do this. But the talisman does another thing. That's the Pinocchio energy. Because we even the occult timelines, Saturn is rock and what is set in stone, Pluto rejuvenating what is set in stone in Saturn's sign. And then Pluto out of bounds. And so we see patterns along the creation of the talismans themselves and the rituals. Now it usually comes from people that try to engineer and tweak every single detail. But it's like they ran into a sovereign. I had exactly this channeling. They ran into a sovereign and they put more force, more violence, more this, more that. They ran into a sovereign. And all of their entire magical trajectory is basically based on oppression and violence. It's different to, hey, let's inscribe upon this candle, yes, what now is this and this planet. Good election, and call this and this planet to say, hey, oh, hi, here, candle, this you? Hey, let's see what it does. What will I discover? What will I see? What will I... there's a lovely short, I need the name of this channel, of a person holding a cup of tea, invoking Poseidon. And Poseidon arrives and he says, what do you do? And says, could you warm my tea? He said, I do oceans. He said, oh, okay. Who should I call then? I don't know, I do oceans. Then it's like Zeus. And Zeus is sending the thunder that strikes that cup of tea and heats it, warms it up immediately. And it's like, oh, thank you. Very basic. Very basic. It's not ordering Poseidon to do something. It's like, could you warm this cup of tea? Not my domain. Zeus, boom. Thank you. But then, or for example, let's inscribe, this is the planet, this is the talisman, okay? Let's invite some qualities of that planet and put that in the talisman, and usually have like 30 seconds to do that. So what we pay attention is around the time of the election, what is coming up. And those that work occultistically violently, they try to humiliate, mock, do something, attack the light, attack the innocence, and think that they can create magic in this way. Then what happens? Usually what they manifest is them being publicly humiliated. This is how the Me Too happened. It's how the Me Too happened. Think about Trump, how he controls the media, tries to control the media, this and that. Charlie Kirk assassin, nothing, Windsor. Projecting on Windsor Castle, Epstein and Trump. And then the attempt to take something, divert it into the timeline, divert it into the it is, what is that, all of that? Taking something that is innocent in the light and trying to hijack it to another timeline. Is it because they can't create? No. Trying to steal a creative energy of somebody else and use that. Now, why am I saying mass death? Because those are trajectories of occultistic practices that are devoid of life. It's not the people. The people who are tortured is not the people. It's the timelines. And they're trying to collapse something that the more they try to collapse it, it's like trying to collapse the ocean. So it will build a mega tsunami that will wash over. The flood comes and washes over. Well, before Saturn Neptune ingressed into Aries for the first time, then I had this, the flood comes and washes over all of those trajectories, which is exactly what happened. And they try to take the presence of the people, exposing more of their darkness. Basically, that's what they're doing. To isolate. You think about Neptune in Aries, to try to single out an individual that is already single, by the way. Okay? To isolate an individual that is already pretty much walking alone. All of that over nothing. And then they become their own satire. Because what happened? Well, how did the meteor happen? People had to express themselves, they had to heal. And then the offenders became a point of ridicule. Now, all the blame shifting rituals, gaslighting, mimicry, humiliation, all of these things create one thing and one thing only: full-blown exposure of that which was a mystery. Détruit for an entire year. For an entire year, okay? Why? Because Saturn is about to conjoin Neptune in 0° Aries and it drops the Peter ring, I am. Death of a personality cult. That's the mass death.